Okay. Folks, at 6 o'clock, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Welcome all visitors to the meeting this evening and ask if anybody has anything, a comment they'd like to make that is unrelated to any of our agenda items, then do so now.
Jason Duback, Searsburg, Vermont. So I was at the meeting on 6/16. I didn't want to bring this up during the meeting and interrupt, so I chose to hold on to this until it was an opportunity for me to speak. John LeBron questioned Mr. Lawrence in depth about being on the planning commission. And those were all the right questions to ask. So Wikipedia describes a conflict of interest as a situation where an individual or an organization has competing personal, financial, or professional interests. This overlap can make it difficult to remain impartial, potentially compromising their duty to act in the best interest of the employer, client, or the public. Now, all the board voted for $70,000 to go to the Friends of Memorial Hall to get that position filled so that they could rent out the building for the arts program. And then Mr. Foster abstained from the liquor commission because that was the right thing to do. But then throughout the meeting, Mr. Fitzgerald asked Charlie how the liquor business was. And then at the end said that was the first time that anybody asked for a liquor license at didn't ask for a liquor license for Memorial Hall. And that's because they have caterers who would be Charlie, potentially. So that means that in turn, you're voting on things that benefit board members. That's just the only way that can be perceived. So I want to bring this to your attention because I've been mistreated by this town. And you could say I'm not a resident. I hold 2 leases in Wilmington now, and I pay into the 1% fund all the time. I just got the power bill today, and we pay 1% city tax in Searsburg. So that's taxation without representation. And if I need you to remind you about your Declaration of Inclusion, I'd be happy to read it. But 3 of the 5 of you signed it, so I think you know what I'm doing. My point is if your boss is doing not the right thing, it's your job to speak up on behalf of them, not just to go along with whatever Mr. Fitzgerald says. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, Scott, let's move on.
Possible changes to the agenda. We are adding Memorial Hall storm windows to an action item. We're adding a resolution request from the town of Brattleboro to other business. And we're adding the chamber banners to action items.
Okay. We're going to put that on the action, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
All right. All right, so we're going to now approve the minutes of June 16th and July 9th, 2026. Is there?
They need to be separate.
All right, so who can't on the 16th?
Vince can't vote on
16th?
no.
I think it's the night. Everybody on the 16th.
Everybody on the 16th is good.
Yes.
So let's do that.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes on the 16th.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second to approve the minutes of June 16th, 2026. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, let's do July 9th.
Vince will abstain on July
Okay,
9th.
Vince, you abstained. You weren't here. All right, motion for July 9th, please.
Approve the minutes of the 9th, July 9th.
Or I make the motion, we approve the minutes of July 9th, 2026. And do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Scott?
Under action items, we have the select board to respond to the letter from PVNR. Russ Bowden, our assessor, will walk you through that process, and he may have other information for you. All right. So you have a letter in front of you. Russ?
Russ, can you hear us?
You're on.
You have to unmute yourself.
Unmute, I think.
Okay, there we go.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Very good.
Now, the letter you're talking about, is that the original letter that we sent to the state or a response from them?
No. You can talk about that, but initially, we need to respond to the letter that came from the Vermont Department of Taxes, asking us to respond within 30 days and on a plan within 150 days. And you may have additional information to add for generally educating the select board.
No, when did we receive that?
We received it on June the 29th, so it's due. The 30 days is due.
Okay. Yeah, we were expecting that. So basically what happened was we appealed under the state's procedure. We appealed the COD last year because we were at 20.45. So we were very close. And according to the state, any slight increase over 20, it could be 20.01. It automatically triggers requests to do a reappraisal. We never got a response from the state. I was actually talking to them today, and they said they have no idea where the email went. Sarah sent the email. We never heard back from them. We never got anything from the post office saying, no, it didn't go through. So they have no idea what happened to it. So we've been waiting for a year for that. At this point, we can respond in 30 days to this. What they would like us to do is to send out an RFP bid to do a reappraisal. The problem is there's nobody to do these reappraisals. I'm winding down. I'll be retiring before the town ever has to do a reappraisal. The state district advisor said anybody that's goes out for a bid to do a reappraisal at this point in time would have to wait till 2030 or 2031, possibly 2032, because there's nobody to do the work. So even if we respond to this, the select board could decide, say, okay, we're gonna go out for bid. The other issue is towns are going out for bid and nobody's responding. Nobody's bidding because they don't have the resources. There's not enough employees. I live in Essex Junction, and we got a letter at the end of the reappraisal process. They stated that they had to postpone it for a whole year because they had a retention problem and hiring problem. They couldn't find people to do the work. I was talking to another large town in Chittenden County, and they got one bidder for $150 a parcel. And they said, we don't even have $150 a parcel to pay for reappraisal. So then what do you do? So there's towns that, like us, that had to do reappraisals and sequential reappraisals in a short period of time. And if the town doesn't have the money to pay to do a reappraisal, what happens? There's towns that are just kind of procrastinating and not responding to the state, and the state just lets it go, I guess. But there's a lot of problems with the process of doing reappraisals these days. So my recommendation was just follow whatever the state is asking us to do. Create an RFP, go out for bid and see what kind of response. The other big problem is that starting in 2027, the towns won't be able to contract their own reappraisal. So if if Wilmington couldn't get a contractor or a contract with a reappraisal by the end of this year, then the state would take over starting in 2027, and they would do all the bidding process and hire somebody, whoever they feel that would do the job for the town of Wilmington. So it's very confusing what's going on these days with the reappraisal process. So I don't
So what's
I
our
don't
next step? What's our next step? Just to basically say to the state will look into it? I mean.
well, no, that you have to have a plan. So within, well, I guess, what is it, 150 days, you said?
So yeah, so the first order is to sign for the select board chair to sign the Wilmington municipal response to the reappraisal order.
Here it is.
That's due in 30 days. And then the second piece is to come up with a plan within 150 days. So I would imagine based on your recommendation, you're asking the select board chair to sign the order. We'll file that, or Sarah will file that tomorrow with the state. And then the second order would be that you and I and Sarah will work on an RFP and present that to the select board within 150 days and see what happens.
Correct. Yeah.
And so that's what I'm gathering is your plan. And then
That's the only alternative we have. Some towns have just kind of ignored and procrastinated. I know one town, they waited 2 years. They didn't do anything. They didn't hire a contractor for 2 years, and nothing happened. Some of the towns, like I said, because they don't have the money, they're signing contracts, but they're pushing it way out. So I know of one town, they signed a contract for reappraisal in 2025 and said, well, we don't want you to do the reappraisal till 2028. Because either they just wanted to push it off, or possibly they didn't have the money to pay to do the reappraisal.
So I would imagine that by sometime in November, before the 150 days are up, we'll have a plan for the state then.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? So you said an email was sent to the state and they said they never received the email, correct?
Correct.
So couldn't we just send the completed, if contesting this order, response and written is required, couldn't we just do that first? Contest it?
When I talked to them today, it appears that they're just saying, it's water over the dam. We can't do anything. It's too late. They're saying that they never received it. They're kind of assuming, they're trying to say that, basically say it's our problem because they don't know if we really sent it or not. We know we sent it. We know it didn't get returned, email returned or anything. So where it went, when I talked to them today, they said they searched everywhere. They went up and down. They had no idea what happened to it. It went to the address that was recommended by the procedure.
So can't we just print that out and mail it in?
Well, we can try it. It can't hurt.
Yeah. I would just think it'd be easier than going through this process again.
Yeah, and they actually said that if we had the opportunity to talk to them, and if they did get the appeal, they could have possibly changed and pulled back the requirement to do the reappraisal, because we were so close. Some of these statistics, you can one or two sales can make a difference. So by just taking the sales study and saying, well, we don't want to use this sale because it's too high, too low, or there's some circumstances where we can reject it as a valid arm's length sale, that could change the statistic and drop below the 20 threshold. So yeah, we could say, okay, you guys didn't get it last year. We're going to send it again, and see what happens. But they
Right.
kind of told me today it's kind of water over the dam. But
All right, so Russ, we have 150 days to file a plan. All right, do we have Russ Bodine for the next 150 days?
sure,
All right, so how soon are you looking to wind down and fade out?
well, couple years.
Oh, okay, all right.
No, I'm not.
We can
I'm
do-
trying.
we can do plenty of appraisals then, right?
No, not really. No.
Okay, I know, look, we're as disheartened with this as anyone else. We didn't expect this. We have done 2 reappraisals in rapid succession.
Mhm.
This is just beyond belief.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Russ, why don't you and I get together and we'll figure out how to push this back on them.
Right, so I have a question, Russ. I don't know if you know the answer. So the state's saying you need to reappraise. That's what the letter says. And that we need to submit a plan to reappraise. Are there parameters around, yeah, we plan on doing it in 10 years?
Well, the thing about doing it right now is and signing a contract. So if the town goes out for bid and says, well, and there's no restrictions on when you have to start the reappraisal and when you have to finish. Like I said, one town, they went out in 2025 and then they wanted the contractor to do it in 2028. So if we sent out an RFP and we got a response and somebody was interested and they asked.
I guess my question is, can we say we're going to send an RFP out in 5.5 years and start in 6 years?
No, we have to respond in that time period.
I'm not saying we're not going to respond. We're going to respond with a plan saying we're going to start the process in 5 years.
No, what you have to do is you have to work with the contractor and you have to say to the contractor, so say if you got one bid and it's a good bid and the town likes it and they said, okay, the price is right and everything, then you negotiate with the contractor and you say, okay, we want you to do the reappraisal, but we don't want you to do it until 2029 or 2030, which they're going to come back and say that's the soonest they can do it anyway. So the state's saying that all the contractors that work in Vermont now are all booked up until 2031, 2032.
Right, so the other statement you made was that if we didn't do it by 27, the state would take over the RFP process.
Correct.
Well, that's kind of conflicting then.
Well, the plan, yeah.
Yeah, we don't know what. So we don't even know. The state hasn't started doing this yet, and they're going to start in 2027. And so we don't even know how that's going to go.
I'm guessing we need more information, a little more clarity on this.
Yeah, you'll see the plan again before
Well,
150 days.
clarity between if we don't have a plan, the state says in 27 we're doing it, but we do have a plan and say we're going to start it in 2030. Which one can we do? If we don't do it till then, is the state going to come in and say, no, we're going to start it in 27?
No,
Yeah.
no. So if somebody responds to the RFP before the end of the year, and the town signs a contract with them saying we want the contractor to do it in 2020, 2029 or 2030, whatever it is, then the state can't do anything.
Okay.
Although it is negotiable with the state, isn't it?
What is negotiable?
The plan. So if the plan.
Oh, well,
If the plan says, if we agree that the plan says we're going to put an RFP out for a townwide reappraisal, that's really what they're looking for. Is that correct?
that's all. That's basically all they're looking for.
And so then the next step is when can the contractor do it? And when that can be negotiated with the town, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then,
And say a lot of towns. So I've been getting RFPs from towns because they're trying to get somebody contracted and signed before the state gets involved.
yeah, and at this point, the state's even saying it's going to be at least 6 years out.
Right.
Yeah.
And some of the towns like us, if they've had to do reappraisals in short, one right after another, they don't have the money to do another one. There was one town that just finished their reappraisal and it was rejected by the state the year they did it in 2025. So if they used up all their money that they had, to do the full physical reappraisal. What are they going to do now? They're just going to have to wait. So the other issue is when the state takes over next year, they're going to be cycling all the towns on a 6-year cycle. So if somebody did the reappraisal this year, realistically, the state says you don't have to do it until for another 6 years anyway, even if you could find somebody to do it sooner. So they're going to try to implement this 6-year rotation by 2030. And what the initial plan was to try to group towns together, either by size or property contiguous towns, or by school districts, and have multiple towns do a contract under one, do reappraisals under one contract. So they initially said, well, if we can group towns in 6,000 parcel increments, so if you could find 6 small towns that are roughly 1,000 parcels each, and they're all contiguous, the state would say, okay, we're going to hire one company to do all those towns all in the same year. And that's another week. I've seen that happen in Connecticut where they group towns together and somebody gets the short end of the stick because, you know, they'll get a crew together and they'll go from one town, they'll blitz the town, do all the inspections as quickly as they can, then go on to the next town, go on to the next town, because they can't afford to hire 6 separate crews. So then that creates another whole problem. So the only thing we have to do is just put together an RFP, see if we get any response. We may not get anybody. And then I don't know what the state does when these towns say, well, we went out for bid and nobody bid on our town.
You good?
Okay, yeah, so we'll file our paperwork on this end. You and Scott will meet and come up with some kind of a plan for the next 150 days. Is that where we are?
Yep, that's where we are.
Okay, all right. Sarah, you're part of that too, I imagine.
Oh, she's a big part of that.
All right. That's what we're counting on. You'll be doing Zoom soon too. Okay. All right, Scott?
Thank you, Russ.
Thank you, Russ.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Next on your list of action is the select board to possibly approve updates to the no parking section of the traffic ordinance. So if you go to page 8 on the traffic ordinance that was handed out, section 19. What happened is that John asked us about parking signs along that area of the beach. And so when we looked into it, it appeared that we did not have an actual ordinance identifying those no parking signs as, and I think there's like 4 or 5, if I remember right. We didn't have an ordinance that actually made those signs legal. So that's what this does. Under section 19, it shall be unlawful to park at any time on the westerly side of Town Highway number 4, that's Lake Raponda Road, for the length of the roadway adjoining the Green Mountain Beach property. So there's signage already there. This just makes sure that we codify it.
So that's the main difference, Scott, at this point?
That's the addition.
Okay.
That's the only addition to the traffic ordinance.
All right. John, what do you think?
So I'll make a motion to accept updating the town parking ordinance, section 19, to make it unlawful to park at any time on the westerly side of Town Hill, number 4, Lake Raponda Road, for the length of the roadway adjoining the Green Mountain Beach property.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
The motion to second to approve the updates to the no parking section of the traffic ordinance as outlined by John. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Scott?
Next up is the select board to possibly approve the Downtown Vibrancy Fund letter of attestation. I believe Sam Kondracki is with us.
Good evening. This should not take very long. We have done this for the last 3 years. We are lucky enough to continue getting the Downtown Vibrancy Fund grant, which is all 25 downtowns have been receiving it. We have been advocating for them to continue this funding source, so it's $25,000. Basically, what they're asking for you guys to sign is that because we are getting this $25,000 grant, that it does not interfere or impact with any 1% funding that you guys currently give us or may give us.
Questions? I don't believe, this is standard. We've done this, like you said before, Sam?
Yep, this will be the 4th year.
Okay.
There's no supplanting, so this is an
Okay,
addition.
all
to
right,
the-
let's do this. Let's just move it right along. I'm gonna approve, select board to approve the Downtown Vibrancy Fund and a letter of attestation. Say that 15 times. All right, we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the Downtown Vibrancy Fund letter. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Sam. Oh. Right, Scott?
Next, the select board to possibly approve $19,406.09 for storm windows at Memorial Hall as part of the MERP grant. So this is an increase from Adam Grimes. You remember Adam Grimes did all the window restoration, and he has completed that. Our next step will be to put on storm windows. They're very similar. He said these are the same storms that were put on at the library. So he said he was able to finish up the last remaining windows. And we have his invoice for that, for the restoration portion. He spoke with the agent from Quanta on the phone. This is the vendor from where he is recommending that we purchase the product from. So he talked about the storm windows, and he asked about the possibility of doing a standard rectangular window with an arch panel on top for the main floor windows. And his rep told him that's something he really would not advise for 2 reasons. It would be hard to join the panel and the storm effectively, which would allow for moisture and air leakage to get in. And they're basically calling it a substandard fix. And it would not look as good. So aesthetics, of course, on a historic building are important here, as there would be a large joint where the arch begins. So we've talked to him. We had a final number, which is an increase of $19,406.09 for those storm windows. We get the right product.
All right, questions from the board?
This is a MERP grant.
All right, someone like to make a motion?
Make a motion to possibly to approve $19,406.09 for storm windows at Memorial Hall as part of the MERP grant.
I would say that's an increase to his original.
Second.
Bid. That's an increase of his original bid. Sorry.
As an increase.
Second.
All right, we have a second.
Yeah.
Our motion is second to approve $19,406.09 for additional funds for the storm windows at Memorial Hall as part of the MERF grant. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Scott, motion carries.
The next item is the select board to possibly authorize the installation of Southern Vermont Deerfield Valley Chamber of Commerce banners pursuant to Title 10 Vermont Statutes annotated 494 sub 18 sub A and B. Pam Green is here to explain this. I'll just read what the statute says about the banner. We're talking about the banner that usually goes across here. You have a handout that she gave you that shows a banner of its like, and the chamber just hasn't done this in a number of years, but this is the change that John Gannon made when he was in the legislature that he negotiated. And it basically says this, it does say this. A sign that is a banner erected over a highway right of way. We're talking about state highway. For us, that's Route 9 and 100, but particularly we're talking about Route 9 here at the corner of this building. And it may not be for more than 21 days. And if the bottom of the banner is not less than 16 feet, 6 inches above the surface of the highway, and it is securely fastened with breakaway fasteners, and the proposed banner has been, this is the part where you come in, the proposed banner has been authorized by the legislative body of the municipality in which it is located.
So historically, the chamber has put banners up there for the various festivals. I'm not sure why that practice stopped. I think probably COVID or something related to that. And we've had discussion on our board that the banners not only publicize the events, but also make the town look a little more festive and like something, activities happening here. And our events, the 4 main events that we do each year, bring in visitors and second homeowners as well as locals to attend these events and support the local businesses. So we feel by adding these banners that it's just a way to publicize and bring a little more interest and activity into the events we run. So there would be 4 a year, the chili and beer stroll, the fireworks, blueberry festival, and wine and harvest.
Do you already have the banners made?
I have not. I'm not going to pay that much money. They're expensive. I'm
They
not
are,
going to pay
okay.
for them until I have approval.
John worked very hard to get this done.
And I'll thank him the next
There
time.
was
I
a
see him.
time that the state told us that since they controlled the road, they also controlled the air above it.
Mhm.
And John went back and grabbed the air for us. Yes,
Oh,
he did a
thank
good. No, he did a good job. Did a good job. But we haven't seen banners in a while. You
No,
are correct.
the last one I could find was for Old Home Week in 2021, which should have been in 2020.
Right.
I included a picture of that because our banners have long since gone away, so I don't have any of the original banners. So they'd all have to
Okay.
be
All right.
purchased.
Gentlemen, any questions?
I'm not, it probably says so in here, but how many years are you looking for?
So
Forever?
we didn't discuss time frame. You know, we do these 4 events every year, so certainly we'd like to
Every
have
year?
approval. Yeah, we have approval. We'd like to have approval to do them at least for the next year.
Let's say
Well,
annually going forward, and if there's a change, she could come back if you'd like to do
But
it.
she doesn't have to come back is my point.
If there's a change,
Okay.
only if there's a change, yes.
If we added
Only
a
if
new
there's a change.
festival. or
Yeah,
something
no,
like
I
that.
knew that was your point, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
I make a motion we approve this.
All right.
Second.
Make a motion to authorize the installation of Southern Vermont Deerfield Valley's Chamber of Commerce standards pursuant to 10 VSA and 494.
Can we list the banners?
We can. We can specifically list the banners.
Say that again.
Banners,
You have it. We have it.
Vermont Blueberry Festival, Independence
yes,
Day,
okay, I see it, okay.
wine and harvest, and craft beer and chili.
So just real quick on Tony's question, is the state gonna ask you to provide our approval every year then?
I just have to, all it states is that authorized by the legislative body of municipality. And I believe I have to show when I file for the 1111, something
That
to
it's
that
been
effect.
approved.
Right, but if we're approving for the Blueberry Fest from July 31st, August 9th, the dates are gonna be different next year.
Yeah, I think if we just indicate what the events are, they're generally around the same time of year, but Pam will have to indicate, you know, what the 21 days are anyhow, if it came up.
Yeah, the 1111, I have to put the dates of the.
And I think we probably have to do the 1111 every year.
Yes.
Yeah.
And those, so every year, the state will get an 1111 permit with the specific dates.
And
Because
we'll,
we have to do one of those every single year.
and we could supply the minutes every
Okay.
year.
All right, so again, we're going to vote to authorize the installation of the Southern Vermont Deerfield Valley Chamber of Commerce banners, namely the Blueberry Festival, the fireworks display, the Wine and Harvest Festival, and the Vermont Craft Beer and Chili Stroll
Annually.
annually. All right. We have a second. We have motion to second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 I
Opposed?
abstain.
You abstain.
Yeah.
How much Chamber of Commerce do you have?
Too many boards.
All right, Scott?
We're all set.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Pam.
very much. Have a good evening.
Under the next item is under the 1% local option tax. The select board to possibly approve $200,000 for the Memorial Hall capital projects. In this case, what I'm asking you to do is something we discussed at the annual meeting. There was some conversation about the amount of money that had been allocated. So the voters allocated 100,000, and that meant on top of the account balance, we currently have around 150,000 in there. So that would be when our treasurer adds that money after September, that account will be up to 250,000 or more or less. And what we're asking is to essentially match your 20% of 200,000 based on the unencumbered amount of the 1% fund, so that I could go out to bid shortly for replacing the siding on that building, so we can do it all at once. The cedar siding.
Got any idea how much the siding will be?
I can tell you what it was 2 years, 2 or 3 years ago,
Okay, all right,
but I think we're in the ballpark.
all right.
Do I think I will need to come back for more? I will let you know.
Okay, and how about the roof?
The roof we have inspected and repaired every year. That's a regular maintenance.
But we don't need it replaced.
No, it's all
Okay.
slate.
Okay, it just keeps
Wow.
mounting up.
You better.
Yeah, it just keeps mounting up.
You better.
All right. All right, somebody like to make a motion?
Move to approve the $200,000 for the Memorial Hall capital projects.
Second.
All right, you have a motion and a second to approve 200,000 for Memorial Hall capital projects. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Scott?
Under the 1% local option tax, the select board to possibly approve Deerfield Valley News request for $30,000. I believe Lynn Barrett may be here. Gretchen is here, and I don't know, is that? And Randy is on the line.
Okay, hi, I'm Lynn Barrett, President of the Board of Vermont Independent Media. Some of you might remember me as running the Southeastern Vermont Regional Marketing Program back in the day. I've had a long PR firm in New York City and here in Vermont, doing all kinds of social media, et cetera, et cetera. I was also Director of Communications for CBS Sports back in the day. I joined the board of VIM in 2019. And left the board when we purchased Deerfield Valley News to sell ads at Deerfield Valley News to help out. And it's been a year, it's almost actually a little over a year since we bought the paper. Many of our goals from the get-go involved engaging the local community and maintaining and enhancing editorial leadership to drive audience retention. However, while focusing on what seemed to be tech only, it took us a little bit off track from our original goals that included building sales, updating prices, developing a newsletter, engaging a digital audience, updating the website, building multiple revenue streams, etc., and most importantly, produce local news that represents the connective tissue to our towns, where we hold leaders accountable, celebrate our neighbors, and stay informed. Your support, if it happens, is really more than a donation to a newspaper. It is an investment in the civic health of Southern Vermont. When local news disappears, community engagement drops and polarization rises. By supporting a portion of VIM's growth, you are ensuring that the Deerfield Valley and the Connecticut River Valley of Southern Vermont remain informed, connected, and heard. And now I'm going to introduce Tris, who is our executive director, and
Hello,
she has a few things to say.
and thank you for having us here tonight, and also for the town's support of the Deerfield Valley News by being the paper of record for the town of Wilmington. So thank you very much. We have been working very hard, as Lynn highlighted, on some ambitious intentions when we bought the paper. And we've really been focusing recently on what we need to achieve in the next 3 to 5 years to modernize the paper, to be able to meet the digital demands and the future of the paper, enhancing not only the delivery of the printed paper, which is preferred by many in the community, but also being able to reach into the digital audience available. We have not yet updated our social media and our website to be able to really have the full suite of content as readily available as we do in the newspaper. So our goals are really multi-pronged, but the primary thing is to be able to expand the newsroom capacity. And it was a little, we adjusted it a bit from our application, but in order to build the newsroom, we're actually going to start with ad sales, because that will create the engine to be able to fund a bigger newsroom over the next few years. And so the first part is to expand our advertising sales, to create an in-house revenue source, and then to work on building out our, rebuilding the website and creating the connectivity that we need to go to social media multi-platform. You know, you really have to be able to meet many customers in many different, wherever they want to consume, you have to try to be there. And so our total budget is $100,000. We're looking to the town to provide 30,000 out of that. Several of it is, part of it is job creation with people coming in sales, which would actually be sales and then newsroom. So we were expecting 2 to 3. That would probably be more in the 4 to 5 over a 3 or 4 year period. And then also for us to rebuild our website capacity and then also have the a better tuned ability to connect that to social media environments.
How many employees do you have?
6.
You have 6 right now?
Yeah.
All right. So will you be expanding at that point, or is that
Yes.
what you're looking to do?
Yes, we're looking to be able to expand.
All right. The other question is, are other towns being asked for contribution on this?
We are working with other towns at this point. We're rolling it out. The first,
Okay.
Gretchen's been our audience.
But we're kind of the test balloon here at this
Yeah.
point.
Right.
Well, obviously, we have a 1% fund, and we also, it's for economic development
Mhm.
and economic stability too, which we don't want to see people lose jobs.
Yes.
But this isn't going to be an annual event, is it?
Sorry?
Is this going to be an annual?
No.
you know-
No.
All right, I just want,
No, that's
All right.
fine.
we want to help, but we're also very stingy too.
That's
okay?
that's appropriate in these days.
All right.
Randy's up on that.
I'm sorry?
Do you want to recognize Randy, or are you still talking?
Randy Capitani. Yes, sir. What do you want?
I'm just here to bug you, Tom. That's all I'm here for. No, I'm here to support these guys in their request. I think it's important that everybody, and particularly the board, understand how journalism has changed in the last 35 years. Since I first sat in that meeting room that you guys are in now, covering you for my first year at the Deerfield Valley News, it's really, the whole business model has changed, and the nonprofit model is one that's coming in. I think what Vermont Independent Media is trying to do with the Deerfield Valley News is sort of take it into the next level. And it's important that small towns and small communities continue to support local news. If you don't have it, you become a news desert. And that's all you got to do is go to towns where people don't have a newspaper, don't know what's going on in their local community, don't have a hand in what's going on with local government, and they've lost. And so you guys have always been really strong supporters of the Deerfield Valley News. And when Vicki and I owned it, you were very strong supporters of us. And I just want to encourage you to encourage the new, to support the new ownership group and help them along with this request, because I think it's vitally important for the future of journalism and for the Deerfield Valley News. And I also want to recognize Reed Fay. He's another staff member with the Deerfield Valley News. And I think he's got something he wants to say too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so my name is Reed. Hello. Although I'm not a resident of Wilmington, I am your neighbor in Whitingham, and I've been an ad sales rep for Deerfield Valley News since December of last year. And I just wanted to say that I 1000% echo the sentiments that Randy's put forward. And I want to say, working for the paper has allowed me to reside in the Valley as an active member of our community and as an ad sales rep going door to door to businesses. I do have the chance to see our community, and I think that this would not only support the work of our journalists, the work of our ad sales team, but the community as a whole. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you, gentlemen.
So I have a question. So Vermont Media Comment, I guess, is the other, which acquired Deerfield Valley News,
Correct.
what, 2 years ago?
A little over a year ago.
Okay. So the request and adding 2 reporters, is that specifically for Deerfield Valley News? Is that going to be shared?
Yes.
It's all for Deerfield Valley News.
Yes, this request is totally focused on the Deerfield Valley News.
Okay, and there's a separate budget for both newspapers in your organization?
We, for example, with an initiative like this, we would hold these funds in a restricted account that are just to be spent for the Deerfield Valley News.
Just as a comment, being a long time subscriber, please allow me to renew my subscription online without having to mail in a check.
We would.
Yes, yes.
That's part of the website.
That's part of what we're doing with the website. Yes, that's why we need the money.
Anyone else? Tony?
What's Plan B if we don't get the funds from the town of Wilmington?
We are already in discussion with other grantors as well as large donors. Lynn and I had an extensive hour-long conversation with a major funder a week ago who described her coming to Wilmington and sitting in a coffee shop and reading the Deerfield Valley News. So that left a really strong imprint. She has invited us back to have a further discussion in September when they're going to be considering their civic identity, civic. They have a new watchword out there about civic dialogue, and just touching right off of what Randy said, which was the engagement of the community in local news is a really vital focus of media grant funding right now. They really feel it's exceptionally important that these avenues of communication not be lost. So we have a multi-pronged effort underway.
There's a huge difference these days, as Randy was saying, about media and local news. It's falling off in many towns all over the country. And this opportunity, when sales are way down compared to what they were years ago, 90% of newspapers have folded. So, what's happening now, more nonprofits are coming in. The community helps support the nonprofits as well as we get grants separately. So it's a different way of how things are working these days. So we need more advertisers too, but sometimes, and they also are looking for new ways to advertise. That's why we're going to be focusing on digital as well as print. If you want to survive.
Any other questions? Somebody like to make a motion?
Randy has his hand up again. I don't know if it was by accident or intentional.
Randy, were you putting your hand up or no?
I just, real quick, two things. Just want to remind you guys all, and I know you know this, but maybe people in the audience don't, that the Deerfield Valley News is a Wilmington-based business. They have a long-term lease in the commercial property that Vicki and I own, and so we do continue to pay taxes, and Deerfield Valley News is helping to support that. And this is not unprecedented because the town did help us get through COVID with a loan that was later converted into a grant, and we've always appreciated that. So the town has been supportive of the Deerfield Valley News in the past, and I just urge you to do that again. Thanks.
Please.
What's this?
So just curious, information you have here suggests 2 reporters. Can you suggest what that means to an increase in the content in the paper? For instance, most recent paper, there were 5 locally written articles, 3 by John, 2 by Olga. So to me, that's pretty thin as far as local coverage goes. So 2 more reporters does what to increase that capacity?
I would think that using the benchmark of what 2 seasoned reporters have produced in a week and just multiply by the increase in the head count.
Gentlemen, someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion for select board to approve request from the Deerfield Valley News for $30,000 from the 1% local option tax fund.
All right, do we have a second? Oh, we have motion and second to approve Deerfield Valley News's request for $30,000. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? I don't see anybody. You're in like fun. Okay.
Thank you
very much.
Yeah.
Scott. We're down to Green Mountain.
We are down to the Green Mountain Beach. Mr. Corey Ross is with us. Andrew Haynes is with us. And this is for the select board to possibly approve $29,037.50 for the Lake Waponda Shoreline Erosion Control, Green Mountain Beach, from the 1% local option tax fund. You might remember that when we started this, you might remember that when we started this project, it looked like we were going to have to pay a little bit more than half. And so I think we've come a long way. Corey?
Yeah, thanks, Scott. So yeah, I think we presented 2 years ago while we were doing preliminary designs. We're now at the 90% design stage. And just to remind you, this is a set of practices for the beach that would protect water quality and ensure sustainable public access to the beach and to a couple of fishing areas near the beach. We've secured $98,612 in grant funding. These are clean water block grant funds from the state of Vermont, administered by Mount Ascutney Regional Commission. And those will fund most of the project. There are 3 practices in the designs that are not considered eligible for that clean water block grant funding. And those 3 practices are a dry stacked stone wall, a bench, and a stone bridge that provides access to one of those fishing spots that we know are popular with the public. And those are the 3 items that cost $29,037.50. And I just point out on top of that, we've already secured $61,736 in state funding that's paid for the designs. So we think we've done a pretty good job keeping this project as cheap as possible for the town. I don't know if you want us to share an overview of those 90% designs. I know they're in the board packet.
Do you need anything?
Where's the stone bridge? Where's the wall going to be?
Corey, can you identify where the bench and the stone stacked wall is going to be? Maybe just briefly go over the design again.
Yeah, absolutely. Andrea, are you able to jump on? I also have design.
Yeah,
You might be able to explain it more better than me.
sure. Yeah, I'm happy to. I'm sorry my camera does not seem to be working at the moment. Um, do you have a digital version to share? Somebody in the meeting room? I don't know if I'm able to share my screen.
You can share. You can share from there. Yes.
I can? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Is everyone able to see my screen?
You have to give it permission.
No. Yeah.
No.
There it is.
Yep.
Now we can.
Yep.
Yeah? Okay. So, thanks everyone for having us. And my name is Andrea Haynes, landscape architect with Du Bois and King, and have been working on this project. So, I'll start up here on the north end. So I'm just going to go across the site and explain all of the interventions. So we have here some additional planting at the north fishing area. There's an existing stone swale here. Can you all see my cursor?
Yep.
Okay, good. So there's an existing stone swale that is very shallow and it's not really functioning as it should. So water is going basically right into the lake. We're proposing to redig that, make it deeper, add more stone, and add some plants to help slow the water down. Right here, there is a small stream, and that is where the little stone bridge is. These are the existing planting areas that were put in, I believe, 2017. So these are now protected vegetation, and they had been expanding past their original footprint. So our solution was to put the stone wall around it. There's existing fences, so that will just kind of keep all of it defined, so it doesn't keep expanding. We're adding a bench here, a bench here. There's existing stone steps right here in the middle that are not very effective, and the grass gets slippery. So this is a new set of infiltration steps. We're doing a little work on the berm and this pipe just to make this swale function better. We're proposing what's called grass pave. In this case, we'll be putting some gravel in and some grass in. So that's just to make a better reinforced parking area that also helps capture some stormwater coming down off the road. The last intervention over here on the south fishing area is called a stone toe. So that's just putting some stone in the lake bed itself and adding some native vegetation to help stop erosion that is currently happening due to foot traffic.
So that north end of the beach.
Yeah.
So there's a little path that comes off the road that people walk down. It's pretty steep right off the road, and there's a couple of picnic tables down there. That's where people fish. Is that the area that you're talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. So people just walk down this way. There's not really a defined path. And yeah, that's a fishing area. I think there might be a like a fire pit too, if I'm remembering correctly.
Unofficial.
I don't, yeah.
Yeah, not
I know it's
sanctioned.
pretty steep off the road.
Not designed.
You gotta put it on the map.
Yeah.
Any other questions, gentlemen? No? Would somebody like to make a motion? Hey, Corey, let me ask one question.
Sure.
Are we just about done with this?
Yeah, we're hoping to implement in the fall, this coming fall.
No, I mean, with the continuous environmental plantings and whatever to obviously to hold erosion back.
Yeah, good question. Andrea, can you talk at all about like the shelf life of these practices? Because I know that there was a previous, I think less robust, but there was a previous set of work that went on here in the past.
Yeah, I couldn't quite hear the question from the meeting room. Could you repeat it? I can hear everyone remote much better.
What's the next plan for the beach after this?
The the next plan. Um, Hopefully nothing. Um,
That's what we
I
were hoping, I think, before this came up, okay? But
yeah,
I think, Andrea, just to help you out a little
yeah.
bit, I think the next plan is to implement maintenance on it that the town would be responsible for.
Yeah, and one other piece of the project that we are currently working on that we're scoped for is a maintenance plan that we're providing to the town to make sure that it's clear how to take care of this landscape. Because once these native plants are established, they become protected. So that's a big part of why we're containing them. So the usable space doesn't get eaten up anymore. I know that was a big issue.
Yeah, that was a big part of the project.
Good to go. I say the select board should approve $29,037.50 for the Lake Raponda Shoreline Erosion Control Green Mountain Beach from the 1% local option tax fund.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve expenditure of $29,037.50 for the Lake Raponda Shoreline Erosion Control Green Mountain Beach from the 1% local option tax fund. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Scott?
Thank you, Corey.
Thank you.
Okay.
Next up is the Riley Boyd Road. The select board to possibly approve classifying the Riley Boyd Road as a pent road. And I believe Mr. Fisher.
With me is Mr. Wayne Corse, and his wife Jennifer is with us as well. And we are here. Thank you for having us tonight, and thank you for sending out to the neighbors the notice of tonight, because you've gotten good feedback with regard to this request. But to start with, just to explain, we're here asking that the board enclose Riley Boyd Road as a pent road. I'll get to that definition in a second. But from its intersection with Green Road on the south to a northerly section, which I think, based on comments from Marshall Dix, should be where the road as it's maintained now turns into an unmaintained section, that be the term. But there may be comments from abutters with regard to that. But pursuant to Title 19 in our Vermont statutes, the select board has the authority to grant permission to enclose what are called pent roads and trails by the owner of the land during any part of the year by erecting unlocked gates and placing those gates in locations as you see fit. And permission is in writing and can be conditioned, and violations of that can be enforced as by the town in terms of your ordinance. So with regard to that, Mr. Corse has suggested that he would pay for and install the gates. If the town then does the signage, and the signage would be along the lines of closed to vehicular traffic except for abutting landowners. You want to keep open access for hikers, bicyclists, cross-country skiers, snowshoers, things like that. So I know that with regard to some of the comments that you received, abutters wanted to make sure that the public access remains real and not just theoretical. And we agree with that. It's still a public right of way. If there can be signage that encourages people to walk down the road, to bicycle, etc., just close the gate. The main reason that we're asking for it to be enclosed is that Wayne's brother Leon Corse and the Corse farm from Whitingham maintains these hayfields and has done for a very long time. And it's Wayne's intent to preserve these fields as prime agricultural hayfields. And what has happened over the last couple of years is that people come down off of the maintained section onto the unmaintained section. The very bottom of the road, is it close to where it intersects Green Road, is really impassable. So what people have done, and we have photographic and video evidence of people then going out through the hayfields and just mudding up, rutting up, littering, etc., on the hayfields. So that is the intent of gating it, so that people don't go down and then go out through the hayfields. It is not the intent to make it private. Originally, we had some discussions about reclassifying or discontinuing the road altogether, but when you, and in conversations with the town, it's been pointed out that with your town plan, connectivity of roads, trails, keeping access things open is in the public good, and we want to ensure that that is maintained. So the Pent Road is that happy medium where it remains a Class 4 highway. It's enclosed, but that it's access for pedestrian, things like that. Already your ATV ordinance prohibits ATVs on all other roads other than the Hermitage exceptions that you put in your ordinance. So ATVs are already prohibited from it. So we're here to answer any questions. Is there anything you want to say?
Sounds like you. But these gates that we're talking about, they would be unlocked, correct?
They would be unlocked.
Unlocked. Okay.
They would be essentially a 16-foot agricultural, tube gate with galvanized.
Proposed, the way it blends in the mulch.
Right.
The one out on Castle Hill, bright red.
Yeah, we haven't heard much from the one on Castle Hill in a long time. A long time.
Yeah. And that's a good point, is that you do have precedent of at least two other places in town where you have, well, at least one other, that's a Pent Road, and another one, which is a Class 4 road that's been signed to be closed. But
right.
The one on Castle Hill is the Pent Road.
But by doing this, Wayne, it's not going to bar people from using the area. I mean, other than the field, obviously, the field's going to be conserved.
No, I've had people that at times I wouldn't say I got along with over the years, that I've let them hung on the property.
I'd be shocked to hear that, Wayne. I'd be shocked to hear.
All right. So I'm not trying to keep people out. I give the boys permission. They ski and snowshoe, and there's sliding parties in the field. I think it's all great. I'm an outdoor person. There is a few posted signs, just trying to bring some order back to the community. When I bought the property in 2002, the local game warden told me it was the most problematic area he had in his whole district. There was more hoodlums roaming around there doing things they weren't supposed to be doing in those fields. And I see it. I think since there's been somebody living in the house, it's died down, but the activities running around stomping the hay down in the field hasn't. And I think it's with the modern day GPS, they see the lake on their GPS and they think, boy, we've got to find a way that we can sneak in here somewhere, and they roam around the fields. That's my opinion.
One other quick thing with regard to the fields, there has been littering there with cans and whatnot. And one of the things that Leon and Wayne have pointed out to me is that when they do the baling of that, it essentially will rip up that can right into the bale. And then when that's fed out to the cows, that can actually kill the cow, because if they ingest it, it slices their stomach. So the idea of really preserving these fields for the agricultural use, which again with your town plan, meets the agricultural part of your town plan. That's part of the purpose of this.
All right, so part of that, could you explain what the definition of Pent is?
So the Pent, it comes back, it originally started with back when Vermont had a big sheep operation, and much like Scotland, you would fence in essentially your home area, and sheep would go everywhere. But the whole idea of having a pent road was to make it so that your livestock didn't wander down. So you would enclose things, people would come to a gate, open it, go through, close it, to keep your livestock in. And that's the original part of it. It still remains in the statute as though they've changed it to the ability of the town to enclose, but they call it a pent road, P-E-N-T.
Okay. And so if something arose, let's say a year or two down the road, can this be rescinded?
Yes.
Can it be changed?
It can be. And another comment from one of the abutters wanted to ensure that emergency services can get through all of that, and the answer is yes. That's one of the reasons why it's unlocked. So yes, there would be emergency.
Except that a class 4 may or may not be passable.
True.
In general, I'm just saying. In general.
But if there were a forest fire or somebody injured, they can legally go down the
Yes.
road to
Yes.
rescue somebody.
So is this road just for foot traffic? Is that what the road
No.
is used for right now?
No, the road is open to all legal traffic that you would ordinarily have on a class 4 road if you so chose. I would suggest a truck, but I don't think I'd take a sports car down there.
So someone driving a truck would have to get out and open up the gate.
And
to
close
continue.
it.
And close it.
And close it.
So is it, we finish, so I'm just reading some of the responses from your neighbors. I don't see any responses saying, hey, this is a great idea.
I disagree with that because I think some of the responses came up with very thoughtful points that were made. But with regard to it, we are asking for signage that be no motorized vehicles other than the abutting landowners. So the abutters can obviously get to their property. Nobody's trying to deny anyone getting to their property.
So wait, so right now, Scott, you're saying anybody can drive down the road?
It remains a class 4 road,
right,
and open to the public. ATVs, UTVs would be illegal, but we would.
No, I just said, well, Bob is saying that only now the abutters can drive down the road if it's.
Well, that's what
I
said that's what we're asking for.
Yeah, that's
So
closing
you
the
have
road
other
to make it
class
private.
4 roads in town that
Yeah.
you have road closed.
So basically,
signs.
you're asking for the road to be private.
No,
You are, because it's just the people who live on that road.
no. You have other class 4 roads here in town where you have road closed signs.
And
on
I'm
them,
asking
and they're
about this
class
road
4
here,
public roads.
which is now open to the public. You're asking to make it a pent road where only the people who live on the road can
No.
drive on it.
For driving on it, yes, but with regard to public access, anyone can go down,
Can walk on it.
walk, ski,
Right,
bicycle.
but they can't drive on it like they can now.
Cannot do ATVs and those.
They can drive on it now, but with this change, they cannot drive on it.
No, yes, they would.
We should just
Well,
clarify that this is not a heavily traveled road. I live on it, I have an unobstructed view of that road. I've lived on it for 32 years. I'm there all summer long and used to be there half of the winter. I see the traffic going up and down. There are hardly any traffic, usually it's Phil. There's hardly any traffic on that road. So I'm starting to doubt, I don't know where all of the mess is coming from, but I doubt if it's coming from Boydale Road onto Riley Boyd Road and then onto which is basically almost impassable at certain points down into towards Green Road. So just to clarify, you're starting to talk about this as if it's a major thoroughfare, and it's not. There's hardly any traffic on that road other than the people who live on it. So just to clarify that.
Yeah, Wayne.
In the last several days, there's been several people down there. A young lady from Reedsboro she said, when I was younger, I used to go down through here with a Jeep. I said, you're welcome to, but I wouldn't recommend it. And then the next day, there was a couple BMX bikes that turned around. I said, you can go down through if you want them. They turned around. Yesterday, the Wilmington Police Department was called about an accident out there on my land where a BMX bike, which is an off-road motor can be right on the road or off-road. There was a call out there that they tried to turn around out there on my land and flopped it, and they called Jared Green to go out and tow the motorcycle out of there. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends what the neighbors want, whether they want to conserve the farmland and have it usable, or whether we want to have the people continue to drive around on it, and there'll have to be alternatives. I mean, I can gate every access from Riley Boyd Road into fields, but between me and Mr. Radar's property, which is he's in the audience here, it's gonna take us 7 or 8 gates. And when you're trying to hay, to jump between the fields and you know, having all these gates, it's what the town want, you know. If the people don't want it, people don't want it. I guess that tells me that they don't want permit, you know.
So, but what you're saying is that you would need to open and close 7 gates to do what you normally do. For someone who normally used to drive in, that he now cannot do with someone who wants to walk there now has to open and close 3 or 4 gates.
There's gonna be,
and they didn't have to do that before.
there's gonna be a place around it to walk or ski or snowshoe. The one out on Castle Hill is labeled the road out there, you know, no motorized vehicle, private property, but you can walk around it. I would definitely.
But you have a solution, you just rather not do that.
It's basically economic
put up to 7
farming
gates.
nowadays is pretty minimal. I mean, they can put 8 gates up, or I guess you can sell building lots, you know?
Well, that's just a threat, basically, but thank you.
And it's only 2 gates, it'd be 1 at each end. And if the town pens it, there's only 2 gates, and Mr. Corse has offered to pay for those and put them in, and then it'll be up to the town for the signage with regard to that.
Can I just, can we talk about, we're always talking about Riley Boyd Road. Why don't we always talk about green? That's a supposedly connected road. You know, he's using, the Riley Boyd Road, but we're not even thinking about the green going all the way through.
The problem comes with people coming down Green Road don't go up Riley Boyd because that section is so impassable.
Well, that's what fix it.
What
so
happens?
Fix it so you can drive it.
Happens, people
Yeah,
come
that's
down
the key.
Riley
Fix
Boyd
it.
Road and it becomes impassable, so they go out into the field.
Right.
Well, that's an easy solution. Fix it. Not make it impassable. I live 1,000 feet on the section 4 road. I can't drive my car on, I have a 4-wheel drive. He's built ditches in it.
For what permit?
Okay, there's ditches that prevent me from driving or wreck my car. It's also a safety hazard. Somebody comes through at night with a ditch, holy mackerel. You get a big truck with a big wheel, with big clearance, you can get through it. But I can't, his is on the first, I have maybe 1,000 feet of footage. But he went 100 feet on my side of the road and then put the ditches in. So I can't have access to my property with a normal SUV car. Plus, it's illegal, according to state law. Nobody can prevent people from driving. Law number, I looked it up, and I presented a letter to the board last week. But according to Vermont law, BSA 191105, the person is not allowed to obstruct or encroachment or place any causes to prevent driving in class 4 road, any road in Vermont. So now it's making it, what am I supposed to do? Would you want not access to your property? You're selecting?
Mr. Chairman.
Wait.
I got a permit from Mr. Dix when, you know, I was fixing it up. You couldn't get past where this water bar that Mr. Abbott's speaking of, and the permit stated that I was to maintain every water bar that was there, and past there was unpassable anyways. You know, you couldn't get out there. I did it per the road commissioner's directive, and I also put another one up farther because the water run about 1,200 feet from the top of the hill all the way down to where Mr. Abbott's talking about. I put another one up on my property to kick some of the water onto my own property rather than let it all go down and onto his property.
The Abbotts have owned the property across the road, adjacent to the Riley Road for 75 years. So it's not new to us, it's not 2 years, 30 years, except we used to drive our Jeep up there, just a few, last time I had a truck, I drove it up there.
Someone in the back.
But
Okay, I'm
you
sorry.
can't have a person preventing
All right,
access to the road.
thank you. Bill?
Excuse me, can I I vote against having.
You're not going to vote,
Oh,
okay?
okay.
Thank you. Go ahead. Okay,
End house that immediately abuts the area.
all right. One on the left-hand side.
Yeah, if you're going down to the left.
Okay,
and the right.
right.
Okay. We have been there for 38 years. And we're there all the time now. And I have never, hardly ever seen anybody go down that road for historical purposes or get off that road vehicle because they couldn't at all. And the only people that have ventured down and there's 1 or 2 people who always live there looking for Lake Rapanda and they stop and you can't even turn around and come back out if you go with the car. There's no room. And never any traffic on that road to begin with. It's a quiet road. You can walk down, you can hike, you can bike it, but it's totally inaccessible. And nobody stays down that road. They just don't go down there. So I don't see any reason why any kind of gate should be put up. There's no possible reason for it.
So I have a more attached view of that whole road because we did that and it's still very old part of Vermont. And Vivian Mars, the old library house that we live in. And she used to live in Northfield, that's the old Boston Post Road. So I don't want to alter this whole area just because he bought a new land on the bottom. And if he has difficulty and someone rides on his field, I call the police. It is not call the police and have them arrested or God knows what. But right now, honestly, there's no, it's peaceful, it's beautiful, it's part of the mind. We don't have to change.
You can't have a statement. You can't get down that road in a car. You can make a U-turn down there, at least for a good couple of 100 yards. And then it gets worse and worse and worse. So there's no reason to put a gate on that road at all. It's not going to keep people out. No person wants to go down there to begin with. And I've never seen anybody go down on a bike, or motorcycle, or anything in 30 years. So.
Can I ask a quick question here? So on the actual road, where on the road are you proposing the gates to be?
At the intersection of Green Road and Riley Boyd at the lower end.
Yep.
And then at the unmaintained, this is based on the town suggestion of putting it where the maintained section is, which I believe is
That's Mr.
Eisenberg's property, because that's the best place to turn around. If they get further down where it gets unmaintained, then you're having to go into Mr. Radar's field or the course field.
There is a sign up already now that's put up recently that specifically states that this is first floor, unmaintained by the town, and you go down the road, speeding area. So it's very clear now, if anybody approaches the road, that they're not going to go down there with that sign. With no reason to put up.
The point is, there is no traffic law. There is none.
Okay,
No
all right.
traffic.
Jim?
Hi, I'm Jim Wiesner and I live on Green Road. That road gets well ridden every day. Bicyclists every day. I check the fields out for rain every once in a while, make sure there's no field debris before they hay and so on and so forth. I'm on that road once a week. The road is impassable in between on a 200 to 300 feet up from Green Road, up Riley Boyd, is impossible to travel, period. I don't give a shit if you're driving a tractor. You're not going to get through it. My four-wheeler don't go through it. So as much as what they do, and this is many vehicles have driven down that road, they come down in packs. Some clubs down in Massachusetts are using that for a field day. Now, after they go out Green Road, they follow Green Road down to the cemetery, Boyd Cemetery, down onto Fuller Road. 5 years ago, they slammed into the stone wall down at the cemetery, and it was dismantled for many years. Okay? The road does get used, and that's why they're going through the fields. Because there's a section that's 400 feet lane, maybe, that's impossible to travel.
Probably 600 feet.
Well, I think
500.
I think you walked it once before, or walked down to where he was gonna log, but that is impossible. Now, if you wanna keep the thing open for the road for everybody to ride on, even for a four-wheel drive, you gotta do something about that road, because this guy fell down on his motorcycle and got seriously hurt. And this is because it's open and GPS is telling people, I heard the other day, was it a UPS truck or
No,
something? headed down that way?
United States Postal Service, a couple of years ago, was there and had an address, Riley Boyd Road, and said, how do I get there? I said, you go back to Route 100, out, up, back around, because the people are on the other end. She said, this is the way the GPS sends me. I said, I don't think you want to go that way.
So, I mean, if you want to finish the road up and make it an ATV road, well, one would be highly advisable, because these property owners are going to turn around and claim damages to their property, because we are not slowing it down. I was offended that they hit the stone wall down in the cemetery. I don't mind going through, I'm not, they're nowhere near my home like these guys, man. But they are using the road every year, 2 or 3 times as a path. You might not see it. You don't see her drive by every day. So if nobody's riding down the road, and she's riding down the road every day, twice a day. She goes over Riley Boyd Road, from Boyd Road to Green Road. This is the road we're speaking of, right?
How can they pass through? Talking about bicycle.
That's true, it's bicycle.
Not with a car.
The four-wheel drives that I see go through are going through, and they're not going through the rough stuff, they're going through the field.
Okay, all right, hey, folks, we're having a discussion, not a rally, okay? Let's just do this. I'm going to suggest to our board here that we go out and do a little field trip. We do a little, we're going to have to take a look at it so everybody has an idea of what's going on. All right, and
Can you tell us when you're gonna be there?
yeah, we will. I just mentioned it now. No one knows it. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Debbie Abbott. I
Yeah.
don't have property down near where the gate is going. So I really can't say, I love all my neighbors, including Mr. Corliss. He's a good guy.
You love all your neighbors.
I do love all my
Keep-
neighbors.
We'll
But I
put that
have
on
to
the
tell
record.
you That the GPS things do send people, because I have people come up to visit me and they'll call and say, we're in the middle of the field. And it says, yes, the GPS is telling them to go up Green Road and then you get on Riley Boyd
Right.
from that end. That is a big problem for down there.
Yeah.
So why at the end of Boyd Hill and Riley Boyd on the other end, can there not be a sign put up saying, this is a dead end, no outlet sign there to keep some of these other people out that are going? It's could be a concern.
Signage also would work. Gentlemen, your gentleman next to you.
I would like Mr. Rader go first, as he's the president of the town.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hi, I'm Rick Rader. I own the West Queen Street. My big concern with that is and I've had vehicles up there, motorcycles, there's like steel. And my big thing is it's a lack of property owners. And that's my big concern. Somebody goes up there, gets hurt, injured, wrecks their car. who's to say that it's not gonna come after me?
Okay. Rick, where do you live?
Where do I live?
Yeah,
I live in Winchton, Mass.
no, but,
Oh, where do we live? 77 Raider Road, the red barn house
It's right beyond the turnaround.
The island.
on the island.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think I've gone on Raider Road my whole life, and I never knew the Raiders were still around. Yeah, I guess
Oh, we are.
I guess you are. Surprise on me. All right, so gentlemen, what do you think? Field trip? Field trip? Yes.
Just like to add one thing. Everybody's been saying how there's never been any trash down there. My grandmother owns Flame Stables. I've been going there since, well, day one, I'm 37. I've picked up old cook stoves, tires, you name it, off of Abbott's property. So for anybody to say there's never been any trash put down there to speak of is the biggest lie I've ever heard. Furthermore, my grandparents put the horses out in that pasture up until they got rid of the majority of the horses. It has never been passable by a car past the entrance to Raiders Field. The only maintenance that has been done to that is what my grandparents did for horseback riding. So for him to say he drove his pickup down there, I don't know, 5 years ago, that's false. Maybe he drove it down to the access of Raiders Field, but that is it. I did a lot of work there this winter. There was traffic from New York plates. I mean, they had no business being down there. BMW SUV going down a logging road, they had no business. So whether if it's GPS is sending them or they're out for a drive and hey, this road continues, there is people going out there. Last summer when I was working down on the Green Road side, I was unloading a forwarder with logs. Some guy just come walking up next to me, asked if I could move Mr. Course's loader out of the way so they could come through. I said, well, where'd you come in? They said, through Riley Boyd Road. I said, well, how'd you get over here? They drove across the field. So for anybody to say it's not true, I don't care if they lived there 37 years, 38 years, or 50 years, it is true. It does happen. I've witnessed it with my own eyes, and I've picked up the trash myself. That's it.
Thank you. All right, so at this point here, we'll end the discussion, but we'll set up a time where we can do a site visit, if that's okay with you. Wayne, all right? All right, and we will notify all the Abbotts and Costellos and all the rest of them. We will notify everybody.
That is a historical road. I went to the Wilmington Historical Society, and they told me that used to be an old toll road. And there's a book in between the libraries around here indicating that it is a historical road. Historical site.
Will you be available? We'll come up with a date. All right.
Sure, yeah, let us
So,
know
okay.
and we'll.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. All right.
Can you do mornings?
We can. Yes, I mean.
Saturdays and Sundays too, all right?
Of course, yeah. Yeah, let me know. I mean,
Yeah.
mornings would work depending on, we're pretty booked out, but yeah, we can make that work.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, let's talk about the East Main Street sidewalk
Yeah,
and
let's do that.
sewer project.
All right, here, we'll hold on. We're getting a major bailout here. Thank you for your input.
Hey, Tom.
Well, I'm glad you're gonna look at
Tom.
it, really, because they can't get.
Well, that's where we wanted to build the high school many years ago, if you recall.
You can wait.
Yeah.
You know, I think-
Up on the Valentine lot.
I'll wait till the site.
You didn't jump in on that one, did you? Okay. Sorry?
When we get back to this, we should get the road commissioner. We should get the road commissioner's input as well.
Oh, yes, we will do that. He will come with any inspection that we're gonna
Thank you.
With you.
All right.
Not only my car, but
Change is hard, we know that. All right.
This is the East Main Street sidewalk. The, and sewer, the select board to receive an update on the East Main Street sidewalk and sewer project from John Lozelle and Gretchen Hepperly.
You're hearing nothing but, you're not hearing nothing but positives, aren't you, right?
so, it started and
No,
it's
I-
in process. So we are on target, for the end date of August 26th at this time. I have
Really?
talked to Waters and they are still predicting that they will be complete by August 26th.
This year.
Yes. And
Good call.
but of note, I want to make sure that you understand that they have a contract until October 15th. So of course, there's been a lot of traffic issues that people have been complaining about, and we are working diligently on getting a person in at the center here to radio to the person that is up by Family Dollar. And hopefully that will help with the traffic situation. We ran into a bit of a problem with the engineering of the retaining wall that is at 64, no, well, 64 to 60, okay, to 56, sorry. East Main Street. It was engineered to be a 14-foot wall. I'm sorry. That's what I said? 14, no. 4 feet.
Thank you.
14,
and, you know, we had, you know, Sprague is an amazing contractor that does stone walls. He did the stone wall on West Main Street. And we would have to do a grade that would be so steep and it would lose actual parking spaces on that property. And I do not believe the landowner would appreciate any loss of, they use all 3 parking spaces there all the time. So, and then at the same time, there was a problem with the utility pole there. So when Steve mentioned that we needed to go higher on the wall to about, we were thinking 5 feet to 6 feet. And so if you're building it up, you have to build it out as well. And so it was going by the utility pole right there. And well, to the utility pole, and Green Mountain Power actually demanded that we go beyond the pole to help stabilize it for the future. So they had to come and stabilize it for a day and a half and get that remaining. So we are over with the wall. So that's a change order. And Waters really did not want to be involved in paying for that. So they asked the town to pay directly to Sprague, which is actually a good thing for us because they could attach on, you know, a fee or billing or, you know, admin to that. So we received an additional bill on the retaining wall for $26,885.17, and we are still within budget. We still have enough funding, and if you wanted me to go into detail about the funding, I can do that. But any questions around that?
All right, one funding, so you know, August 26th, right around the corner here. We're a little bit over a month away.
Yeah.
You think they're gonna be able to have it done by then?
Yeah, so they have, you know, a lot of they have not too much, what is it called? Granite curbing left to install. They have the paving that they have to do beside that. They have filling in the dirt in that little like green area and seeding that. They have the crosswalks to put in. So they can be doing all of this while the, the remaining, well, the remaining wall is being built that's in front of
Okay.
Lori Boyd's. So,
So all of the houses down there in the lower part of East Main, they'll all be connected to the sewer though, right?
The lower
No.
part, they are already connected. This is
Okay.
the upper part from Lori Boyd's to the funeral.
Okay. That's always been a concern. So look, the one pipe that services all those houses
Yep.
is kind of
There's-
null and
there's-
void at this point, right?
Right.
No,
But
no.
not yet.
well, no.
There's six houses that are six connections. 4 have been made. We're waiting for 2 more. The main has been run. All of the manholes are installed.
Okay,
We've just got 2 more, the Sullivans and the funeral home to connect.
okay.
And then they will cross the road and they will cut it off at Jake Roberts, and Jake will be the only one on that private line.
All right.
Because he has to, we're leaving him a stub, because if he connects, he would have to pump, because the sewer runs out the back,
Right.
or he would have to pump, but we're leaving a stub for him and the post office for future if they have issues with the lines that go in. We did run into, we found out by the laundromat, in between the laundromat and Dunkin's, there was a thrust block on the 12-inch water main that no one knew about, which was right in the way of the design sewer line. So we had to install a new manhole and kind of avoid that thrust block, an added expense. But on the other end, they found a bunch of ledge by Lori Boyd, so they actually shortened the main by about 50 feet or so. So we'll probably see a little bit of an increase. We won't know that until the end. They've got to, they've done the road crossings, but they have to dig the road crossings back up because they need to be, have flowable fill in them. Some problem.
Easy to deal with the contractors.
We
Wow.
both have different answers.
Well, I
Turn your
want to just
microphone
make
on.
sure that you have a rapport with them. I mean, I know that we did the same thing when, in fact, Scott and I talked about it today with Bread Loaf. Back in the day, of course, Bread Loaf is now going out of business, or they're going out of business.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah, they're gonna close shop.
I'm a lot more hands-off with the contractors than John
Okay.
is, because we have Dubois and King, is the project manager. And, they are really not doing the sewer side of things. They're just doing sidewalk.
Okay.
But they've been very helpful in guiding and helping John
All right.
through that process. So I think John has a different experience.
But they've been very responsive. I mean, we've had to step in a few times. There were some safety issues that we had to, I had to shut the job down for a little while because it was just unsafe. But the company responded and got the proper equipment, and it's been much safer since then.
And we'd hope to have that part of the sewer part of the project already completed, so a little bit of a holdup, but it sounds like we're getting there.
We've been working together. We took our jetter up and flushed the lines just to kind of help them and try to get things moving a little faster. I gave them some information today. They're waiting, trying to find a septic truck, so I pushed them a little bit to nudging them along, but yeah, they're coming. There's less than a week's worth of sewer work left.
That's very encouraging.
Yes. The work that they're doing is fine. The quality, it's
Okay.
passing all the tests, all the sewer pipe. The quality's been fine.
That's very good. to hear.
I've heard that some of the residents have contacted you with positive notes about the new sidewalk.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
People are really excited about it.
I saw John Titus out at the end of his driveway the other day with a shovel, like he was correcting something. I'm not, oh, mother of God, we don't need this. He didn't really do a lot of stuff in the end.
It's because Mark killed his spawn.
Well, I don't know what the heck he was doing, but
Most of them
It's
can,
being recorded. Don't do that to him.
I think most of the residents can drive in now, right? It looks
Oh,
like.
everybody can drive in. They have to have access.
No,
Like,
no,
all
but I
have
mean,
to-
it looks like most of the driveways are completed, aren't they?
No, not really.
I thought they were.
No. And all residents will have the opportunity when they are tarring up against the curbing, you know, they could, if they wanted to have their driveways paved, they could, you know, talk to the paver at the time. And they'll give them a vote. So.
Okay, good.
Just real quick, back to the lights, you can have somebody at there with a radio that's gonna be able to talk to the guy at the far east end, and they're gonna be able to control that light, because the issue is not.
They cannot touch the light.
They can't touch the light.
They can't direct traffic.
It has to be a uniformed officer.
So what is he gonna, the problem is that light is not timed correctly with the
Because
traffic.
he's looking
going
down
across.
Route 9 and he's looking up Route 100 and he's
Yeah.
able
There was
to
actually
see.
someone there.
They're there all day today.
He's controlling them lights.
Yes.
That he can control them. lights.
Okay, so they're
He
gonna
just
try
can't
to get
control
those lights to work. And see,
Don't
if you're coming
They
west,
were
you're gonna.
waiting for the lights. I'm sorry? They were waiting for the lights.
What?
I think it
Yeah.
was fine. It was a good idea.
Yeah, no, so in the conversations that take place at the business meeting portion, Gretchen and everyone else there from the town has been asking them to increase assistance down here. Now, you can only go so far. Remember, we're probably running 10,000 to 14,000 vehicles through here a day, because this is peak time period.
Yeah.
The average runs between 8,500 and 9,500 throughout the year, depending, you know, so there's highs and there's lows. So when you consider the amount of vehicles that's going through here, I think they've done a good job. They're doing a better job right now when they put someone down here. And all they're trying to do is make sure that this intersection doesn't get clogged up and move traffic when that line is going. When that light is going, he can see it. And he's just moving traffic and facilitating that down here. I mean, that's about the best we could do. You're not gonna
Because
get.
they don't know, if they're sitting up there, they don't know when the traffic is backed up on Route 9 and Route 100.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
The issue is coming down 100, so now they can't go left. So the cars coming down 100 who want to go left to go east are now blocking the intersection.
Right.
But blocking the other traffic coming up
And
100.
that's why they're asked to put people down there around peak time.
Yeah.
It's not necessary for all the time, but around peak time.
Oh, good.
Today, we can't solve it.
I think, you know, do you remember the circumstances here just before he came on board? You know, when they were paving?
When we were paving, yeah.
No, that was misery. That was
Yeah.
total misery.
No, I
But
got
they
some-
weren't
I
going
got-
to agree with
I
that.
got some of that.
A little.
Some of that.
Yeah, you know, we did them paving too. So, all right,
it's coming along.
We're very happy things are going okay. And if August 26th seems really good, really close.
Yeah.
All right.
Are you guys good?
Would you
We're
like to
good.
go to the sewer commission?
All right, I move with the sewer commission. All those in favor? say
Thanks,
aye.
Chris.
Aye. John, you're right there, right there, ready to go.
So I have a allocation, a preliminary allocation application for you from Brian and Danielle Dunn, 117. They are agents for Tommy Fox on the Cloud property, 117 Route 9 West Main. To install, they want to put a building up. They want to tear the one that's down out there now, tear it down. They want to put a 1-bedroom apartment and a car wash. They're asking for 35 cars per day. The state, I did some research, and the state, and with their equipment that they're getting, the projected usage is about 13 gallons per car wash.
Okay.
So that comes out, so it's 140 gallons for the 1-bedroom apartment, 455 gallons for the 35 cars. The property already has 90 gallons. So we're looking for approval for 505 gallons. And they need this preliminary approval to move forward with the permit process.
How did they do with the DRB, you know?
I heard it went okay.
Okay.
I was not there, but I heard that.
Well, I thought
for the most
they
part,
were.
it went okay.
You there?
Yeah, I was there.
Okay. All right. So would somebody like to make a motion?
Move to approve an additional 505 GPD at 117 West Main Street. A one-bedroom apartment and a car wash.
All right. Okay, we have motion second to approve an additional 505 gallons per day at 117 West Main Street for a one-bedroom apartment and a car wash. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
There, sir.
Is that what the thing you're doing?
Okay. Well, a car wash in town would be nice. Isn't it?
Thank you.
Okay, all right, I move we come out of the sewer commission. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, highway department.
The select board to possibly approve $31,492 from the equipment fund for the second half of truck number 12, and it's a refurbishment.
Truck number 12 is 2017 single axle Western Star. Actually, I think they call it 2018. It was put in service in December of 2017. It's the truck that, it's Doug Wheeler's truck. It's the truck that plows through the hill. It needs a lot of mechanical work, but the truck's been a very good truck. We haven't spent a lot of money on major repairs. We brought it to ATG, which is the Western Star dealership. It's actually currently sitting there. They went through it bumper to bumper, looked it all over, see what's wrong with it. There's a lot of safety things like brakes. We'll use that as an example, but it's never had brakes done in the 9 years it's been in service. It needs it. It's an automatic truck. So it's treated us well. I think it was a year ago you approved the body to put on it because you have to order it that far ahead. But I'd like to get under the way so we can still use the truck, do the mechanical part now. The body still is not in and able. It's going to be probably next year before they'll put the body on it. But we want to do the chassis so we're not down the truck. So it's $35,000, whatever.
31,492.
Yeah, there you go. There's also some body repair on it. It's a door. Right now the window don't work because the door's got a dent. You can't go up and down. We pulled it out. We are going to correct that so it don't get dented in anymore. We did find out the problem. It isn't completely driver error.
Not completely.
When the piston was replaced because it went bad, the wing piston, we didn't know it, and they didn't tell us that inside the piston there's a sleeve that stops it from letting it come up. I will say the driver has hit the door many times with it since because there's no stop in there, but we are going to put a stop in there before it goes back in service with a new door out to try to prevent this. That would be the goal.
Okay.
I can't guarantee it. This is Doug Wick.
Big time.
But that's what I'd like to do. It's in our capital budget. So all together we're under. I don't have the exact body number. I don't remember, but it's under $100,000 to replace that truck today. We are now over $300,000. So we're.
Yeah, we'll rehab it. We'll rehab it. Rehab sounds real good.
Well, that's what I was thinking. In the last one, just if you're wondering, we did do the one 2 years ago now. This will be, when we go to this winter, it'll be its third winter on. We have had absolutely no issues. The truck is still going good. We have not put very little money into it since what we did for rehab. We are doing this rehab a little bit different. We found out the last truck we sent out and had the body refurbished. So we had it all, they fixed all the pins in it and painted it all. I found out I actually could just buy a whole new body cheaper than we could do that. So this truck is getting just a new body, but it takes longer to do. It don't take longer to do once they get it.
Right.
But because everything comes from Canada, it takes a while. So that's just to give you an idea.
Hopefully it's on the way because the price is
let's hope it's
that is one good thing about this company. Once they give you a price and you agree to it, they will not change it.
Right,
I'm not saying the next truck won't cost more, but,
okay. Would somebody like to make a motion?
I move to approve the $31,492 from capital account for the second half of the truck number 12, refurbished.
Second.
Right, and we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the $31,492 for the rehabilitation of truck number 12. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
The
We have a second part.
Select board, you are spending some money.
Oh my, we really have.
you put some money out.
Wow.
You ain't giving me
You
any
take a
of it.
couple
Wow.
days off and
It's like
suddenly you
the
gotta
money's
spend
burning a
all the
hole in
money.
our pocket.
Don't be afraid to offer it out at 1%.
So this is a purchase,
Not happening.
this is a purchase of a vent track in the amount of $57,596.20 from MTE Equipment Solutions. And I think Marshall has a story for you.
What is a vent track before we?
Yeah, I asked the same question.
I'm headed there. I'm headed there. So the vent track, to start with, you've all seen it because you all see the guy doing the sidewalks during the day. The little thing with a little V plow on it and a salter on the back.
Yeah.
So a vent track is a utility vehicle that you can put all kinds of attachments on. So that is not the only use for it. We are gonna get a V plow. We are getting our own salter for the back if you approve it. We are also, they use it for embankment mowing, steep mowing. It comes with a 5.5 foot rough cut mower. So we have to mow the transfer station to capped landfill. The guy that has been currently mowing it only mows it once a year, and he's trying to retire and don't really like mowing it because it's too steep. You can't mow it with a lawnmower. One, it's too steep to mow it with a lawnmower, and it's too rough. So this will mow that. There's other places and other departments like the water department that water access up to their springs. They'll be able to do a lot of their mowing with that stuff across from Vince's house on Wilmington Heights, where we just got rid of a bunch of trees. What is not mowable with a lawnmower will be mowable with this. You can go up a 30-degree incline with no problem straight up.
Okay.
So that's the mower part. We're getting a broom for the front of it to help, again, back to sweeping sidewalks. Now, this ain't saying that highway is gonna plow and salt the sidewalks all the time. This is to assist. When we have employees to assist.
Is
gotta
it
have
going to
time.
sweep? Is it going to sweep?
It has a sweep.
No, is it going to sweep? You say it's not gonna plow, but is it gonna sweep?
Yeah.
Oh.
It will sweep.
Not this
You're
month.
gonna use it to sweep.
Yes.
You just said you're not gonna do the sidewalks, it's to assist, you are gonna use it to sweep.
Yes. Sorry.
And basically, the snow plowing sidewalks is during these heavy storms when the vendor is having difficulty getting to us until late. So during the daytime, we should be able to help out.
If we have employees.
What about a trailer to move the vent track? We already have that?
We do. It will fit on our trailer that we currently use for our lawnmower. Plus, we have our other one that we bought a few years ago. If one's tied up, we can use our bigger one.
All right, somebody like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the highway department out of the highway capital fund for the purchase of a vent track for the cost of $59,000.
57.
Okay, 57,000. I gotta go back a few pages here. Hold on.
Well, $57,596.20.
The quote says 59. Is there?
From MTE, there's two
Yeah.
different quotes.
Oh, okay, thank you. Sorry.
All right, we have a second.
Second.
All right, motion is second to purchase a vent track in the amount of $57,596.20 from MTE Equipment Solutions. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Marshall, thank you.
Mark,
Thank you.
Thank you.
would you like to go into the liquor commission?
I move we go into the liquor commission. Do you have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Scott, there's a lot of them sitting here for me.
Okay, I'm not gonna do this in one breath, so here we go.
Okay, all right.
Thanks for coming by.
Which one is you?
The very last one.
Yeah, Charlie's the last one.
Okay, so, the liquor commission possibly approve a second-class renewal for Note and Whistle. A limited event permit for Brandon Riley for an event at Brookbound Inn on August 14th, 2026, from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. A request to cater for La Casita for the Blueberry Block Party on August the 8th, 2026, from 4 to 9 p.m. A special event permit for Vermont Distillers for the Blueberry Block Party on August the 8th, 2026, from 4:30 to 8:30 p.m. and an open container exemption permit for the Blueberry Block Party on August the 8th, 2026, from 4 to 9 p.m.
Okay,
So moved.
all right, all right.
Second.
Do we have a second on the so move?
Yep.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, Scott, the last one?
And finally, a request to cater for W.I. Foster at the Brookbound Inn on August the 21st, 2026, from 4:30 to 9 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 I abstain.
Yes, Charlie's out of that. Scott?
Under other business, you have a letter from the town of Brattleboro asking for a resolution in support of keeping its birthing center. And there is a draft of the town of Wilmington resolution if you so choose to use it. And how much more do you want me to read?
Just tell them, sure, you can keep it. We're resolved.
So, but you know, here's, it's a, obviously, we don't want to lose any part of any hospital. But remember too, they've been struggling, and the board of trustees for the hospital they didn't do this lightly, I know that. When they took the obstetrics and said that was going to be it, but you know, I don't know, I saw the protest come out immediately. It's almost like a standard there at this point. But the board of trustees, so the board of directors there in the hospital have a big job ahead of them to keep that place solvent and keep it alive. And unfortunately, you're going to have to take some of these departments out. But anyway, we'll support the town. We'll support Brattleboro. That this is a part of an infrastructure that we want to see stay. I'm going to say that because I have 7 grandchildren that were born there. I was just thinking about that. The other 6 were born elsewhere. So you're uppity.
You're gonna age yourself there.
So would you like me to read into the record the resolution for your consideration?
Sure.
Whereas the Brattleboro Memorial Hospital has identified the potential need to close its level 1 low-risk birthing center, whereas the ability of the Windham and Windsor County regions to attract future economic investment in the next generation of residents depends on the availability of essential services such as are offered at the Brattleboro Memorial Hospital Birthing Center, and whereas we believe that Vermonters should be able to safely give birth in Vermont rather than have to travel to other states. Now therefore be it resolved that the town of Wilmington Select Board strongly recommends that the Brattleboro Memorial Hospital do everything within its power to maintain robust birthing center services mid-Brattleboro for the benefit of the region, encourages the Vermont Agency of Human Services, the Governor's Office, Green Mountain Care Board, and the state legislative delegation to act in support of rural maternal medical care in general and to prevent the closure of this birthing center in particular, urges residents to choose Brattleboro Memorial Hospital first for medical services so that the birthing center can be adequately subsidized, adopted by the town of Wilmington Select Board on this 21st day of July 2026 with a copy sent to the above mentioned entities.
Okay. You need a motion on that, Scott?
You would need one, yes.
Okay, all right. All right, so I'll make the motion that Wilmington acknowledge the letter of the town of Brattleboro and asking for a resolution in support of keeping the birthing center at their local hospital. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion, a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 And we'll need signatures. None opposed, correct?
Correct.
Okay, where are we now? The select board member comments. John, you want to start?
I think I've used up my allotment.
I'm gonna give the balance of my allotment to John, so we're done.
Nothing, Tony?
Nothing.
Okay, how about you, Vince? I'm all set too. How about you, Charlie?
Nothing, just I had a Bytown marketing committee, I think last week or whatever, they just rolled out a new hiking pamphlet, which is really good. It's expensive to print, but it goes over all the trails in the area. It's been widely selected, which is great. It shows the access to the Hoot Toot and Whistle, easier to get to and stuff like that. And then they're rolling out a new page for weddings in the area and all that sort of stuff. So Bytown was my last meeting that I remember. That's it.
All right, Scott?
All right.
In regard to the police department, they have hired all their full-time positions. Of course, they're in a probationary stage and are involved in a fair amount of training. So we'll keep you apprised of how that goes. Chief Morano received a thank you for submitting an application for Leading Cities ACCELI Gov, ACCELI Gov initiative. So they secured a semifinal spot applying for a pilot called True Flood Risk. This program cost would be $0 if we get selected. The True Flood Risk delivers real-time property level flood forecasting and situational awareness and evaluate promising solutions. You'll hear more about it if we get selected. I believe this is to measure the flood waters here in the middle of town. That's what I believe it will do. But more to follow if we get selected. It's a pilot, it won't cost us anything. There's a thank you card for Sergeant Kirkman. It says, "Hi, Sergeant Kirkman. What do regular people call you?" I Googled how to address a police officer in a letter, and it said I should address you by your rank. Anyway, I want to thank you for giving me a ride home when my car broke down in Wilmington a few weeks ago. That was so kind of you. I really had run out of options, and the tow truck wasn't going to be there for ages. Thank you for helping me. I hope your next shift, whenever you read this, is a peaceful one. Sincerely, Kathleen. Let's see, where else am I going? Bridge 31. You remember, this is right outside our window here. The team is currently working on, the state team is currently working on drafting up a proposed utility relocation routing plan. The relocation routing plan will have a significant influence on project impacts and how traffic is maintained, at least for part of construction. They expect some back and forth with the utility companies to get concurrence on either a temporary or permanent utility relocation. That part of the project might affect a portion of the road near the mover called the Town Highway 59. However, we're not proposing to use Town Highway 59 at all for maintenance of traffic. Plan we presented at the last select board meeting we attended was to do an accelerated closure of the Vermont 9 and Vermont 100 intersection with the most aggressive construction schedule we believe will still deliver a quality bridge. The team is actively working on advancing preliminary plans for the project, which are due to be completed in September of this year. Once utility relocation is determined, we should have a much better handle on the project limits, schedule, and impacts. We're also planning on replacing the signal at the intersection of routes 100 and 9 during construction due to the end of its service life of the existing equipment and some foundation concerns with one of the mast arms. This has added some scope to the project, which increases the number of tasks we need to complete during the accelerated closure period. So that gives you an idea of where they're at right now.
Is there a concern with the mast on?
Evidently,
Okay.
it's holding up so far. You'll remember, I think I mentioned, of course, we completed all of our work with GMP. They were very happy. I think it was Boyd Hill, Whites Hill, Blue Hill, Minor Road that the town assisted with. And they seem to be very happy, and they paid the invoices we submitted.
No, we're waiting for payment on the second one.
As of,
Wait, what, yeah. So they paid one before July. And the other
yes,
one after.
we're waiting on the last.
So when we talk about Memorial Hall and the floodproofing project, I've received the final invoices, one from Ben Joyce. He completed the elevation certificate for the National Flood Insurance Program. This is a FEMA requirement for the project to ensure compliance with community floodplain management ordinances, to inform the proper insurance premium, and to support a request for other related letters for map amendments to change mandatory flood insurance requirements. So it is a little bit handy. I think Tom was telling me, you remember that we did not have certificates.
After Irene, they mandated it for everybody, if you wanted to renew your policy.
Yep.
And of course, it's now, it's one of the things you have to do. It's expensive to do it.
So-
And you have to do it. I mean, the insurance company doesn't pay for it. But
So we'll send this to the insurance company as well. I have a Vermont Emergency Management check-in meeting on the floodproofing project scheduled for tomorrow. And I believe in a week or so, once we have all the invoices paid, I will be ready to close out this goal. So it's been a long time in coming. The engineer, his hand, Hodgman, and he was pretty pleased with the product, the outcome. So you remember that I might have mentioned that Lake Raponda was due for its periodic inspection, and they completed it. They were here on May 13th. So we have just received the inspection report. So today, Russell McGinnis from the State Dam Safety Program sent the latest inspection report with this message. Thanks for taking my call this morning, and please see attached for the completed periodic inspection report from May 2026. As discussed, when the team drafted this inspection report, we noticed that MSK Fitzgerald Environmental incorrectly references the crest of the dam as a secondary outlet. Our team discussed this configuration, and due to the lack of overtopping protection on the crest, as well as no formal documentation showing that the cutoff wall of the dam is capable of being safely overtopped, the team has concluded that it would be improper to consider the downstream cutoff wall as a formal secondary outlet spillway. Therefore, we view this feature as the highest non-overflow portion of the dam and not as a formal spillway feature. We understand the town of Wilmington is actively pursuing a design project to move the conceptual design to a final design, which currently includes the crest of the dam as a spillway. Prior to proceeding, and due to this stated discrepancy, it is recommended that a preliminary design meeting be held to be sure this is properly addressed in any final design documents that are submitted for program review. It sounds expensive. I don't know. We are constantly dealing with different people on the inspection versus the people in this program that we're dealing with, trying to negotiate what the final design should look like. At any rate, the engineer who was working for MSK, I think I mentioned before, is now working for a firm which is Fitzgerald Environmental out of Concord, New Hampshire. In order to maintain continuity, I'm asking him for a new agreement so that he can continue the work that he started, rather than trying to go out for bid again and try to find another company who may or may not agree with the plan the way we have it currently, and would have to start all over again from scratch in terms of negotiating with the state on what this will look like. So right now, I'm waiting to hear back now that he was waiting. So this is Eric Teal, and he was waiting for this inspection report before he submitted anything to me. So that'll be the next step in terms of what that will cost to get the final design and to go out to bid for a construction company to do the remediation. Look at that, we're already. Okay, legal corner. You might have forgotten, but the George Zaringer case that was on appeal in Superior Court, we are still waiting for a decision on that case. 3 to 5 East Main Street, which is Mr. Silverstein. We're still in a holding pattern, working with the court and Mr. Silverstein on a schedule that would include expert disclosures, depositions, and possible mediation. So we're still working, Adrian is still working on that. In terms of the Claudette Wilson, remember they appealed to the Supreme Court on whether or not they could have their case reheard at the PVNR, and we submitted our brief to the court June the 3rd. Parties were supposed to determine whether they were requesting oral argument. Nobody did, so as of July 2nd, there will be no oral argument in front of the Supremes, so we'll just wait for a decision. And remember, I mentioned JBRO versus HIREHC, and that was the company related to James Barnes. We have been inadvertently included in that lawsuit, and we have been dropped from that lawsuit. So I think that's all I have for you.
So I forgot to hit send to Scott.
They're my comments, not yours. Go ahead.
I forgot to hit send to Scott, so I wanted to let you guys know that Molina's up on Ray Hill is finally hooked into the town sewer. This is something they started a long time ago. They put an addition, built a new house. So Ray Hill will be closed for a day. And there will be some tree work going on. The road won't be closed when the tree work's going on. There will be signage up there. When the road's closed, they will call the fire department, police department, notify everybody. When I get the date of the road closure, I'm gonna put the signs up like I did last time when the town closed the road to try to give some people notice to go somewhere else. The road closure will be only one day. Sparkus excavating, doing the work. So where they will be digging along the road, but the road will be closed when they do that.
We're not supposed to be on that road anyway, as we all know.
I know, but I just wanted to let you know that was happening. So
SOP.
I'm glad. So Sarah's gonna have a permanent place then.
Is that who it's for?
No, the apartment is actually for the mother, Sarah. Knows in the house.
Oh, they're gonna flop, they switch, okay. It'll always be the Russ Hanson house to me, something. Okay, anything else for the good of Wilmington? Yes.
I forgot one thing and I apologize. Maybe John can help me. I heard a nasty rumor that the boat the fire department got in the grant has been having some issues. Is that still covered under the grant? Do you know anything about that?
I think it was out of service for a while.
Okay, you know, I've just heard that it keeps on going back to the repair.
Well, news to me. I know they used it a couple of times. We're very happy with it, so this is news to me.
I do not know. I knew it was out of service for a while. I don't know what it's
Okay, I was told that it's been out for repairs like several times so far, so.
I hope
No,
it's.
some of it was a recall. Some of it was a recall. That was-
Yeah, I mean, should be. I mean, it's still new. It should relatively new. Should be covered under warranty. So.
Okay, sorry, that was my random.
So does anybody have anything else for the good of Wilmington?
Well, you know.
All right, then I will accept motions to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, say a motion to adjourn, Ed, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're done, folks.
Not much, no more talking.
I'll send something.